Welcome to the Overlooked Tracks podcast, your go-to for musical gems you may have overlooked. Tune in and discover or rediscover great music. And now, here's the host of the Overlooked Tracks podcast, Kenny Chiba.
What's good, everyone? You've tuned into the 93rd episode of the Overlooked Tracks podcast, where the rhythm speaks louder than algorithms and real stories echo past the charts. I'm your host, Kenny Chiba, your MC on this never-ending search of soul, steering sound, and sonic truth. And this time around, I got the chance to connect with a creative force who's building bridges between hustle, heart, and harmony. Michael Burton, better known as Keybeaux. Rapper, songwriter, producer, music engineer, and entrepreneur. Keybeaux is a one-man label, a self-made wave, and a blueprint in motion. Our phone conversation wasn't just insightful, it was wholesome, inspiring, and downright electric. The kind of conversation that reminds you of why you fell in love with music in the first place. From his early grind to shaping his own sound and business path, Keybeaux drops more than bars, he drops gems and bricks of gold. It's not every day you chop it up with someone who lives their message, builds their empire, and still keeps it 100. So sit back and settle in, because when Keybeaux speaks, you're not just listening, you're listening to what it means to bet on yourself. Let's get into it. Hello. This is Michael.
Hey, what's going on? Yes, Michael? This is he.
Hi, this is Ken from Japan. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Ken?
I'm doing just fine. That's
awesome.
First and foremost, thank you very much for taking time to have a conversation with me. And so,
of course.
And everything. So, just wanted to first and foremost, honestly, this is for my heart here. That I've been reading about you and stuff like that, and since we did a little bit of business of at Fiverr and things like that, I got a little deeper as far as what you do and what you've been. And I saw that CNBC video on YouTube some weeks ago or some months ago or something like that, and yeah, it was like, oh, this is cool, and I got more interest and wanted to talk to you. So. Again, thank you very much for what you do. I definitely commend you for you being a producer, rapper, songwriter, entrepreneur, and things like that. And I'm definitely fortunate to have some time to talk to you.
Oh man, that's a huge introduction. I'm completely honored by all that you checked all that out. Thank you.
No, I mean definitely, because you. As far as I'm concerned, you make it a difference. There's someone in the world that's definitely listening to your tracks, and hopefully they get a positive impact off your music and everything. So definitely.
Oh man, thank you.
Yeah, and definitely appreciate what you do. I was wondering if you can just give an introduction to yourself, as far as your name, where you're from, what you do, and things like that for the audience.
Absolutely. Name is Michael Burton. My artist name is Keybeaux. I'm a rapper, songwriter, producer, and full-time at that. I'm an artist in totality. And I've been making music for 20-plus years. Done songs for a lot of different shows, movies, games, but I also released my own music. Song written for people all over the world, collaborated. So it's safe to say I love music. I'm obsessed with it, and I've had a great deal of success as a freelancer for almost a decade, making this my full-time job. So, and I'm from Houston, Texas.
Go Houston!
I don't know if I answered all that. I don't know if I answered all the questions.
No, you did, and then some. Some.
Yes.
When it comes to music, you said that you love it and everything. So how did you first come about liking music?
All children love nursery rhymes. So beyond that, I absorbed the music of my father and my grandfather, who's still alive, was a jazz performer out of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
And that's where pretty much the family lineage of musicianship came to be. So I'm sitting there having to understand who Miles Davis is. I was like, I don't know who that is. And when I'm 4 years old.
Yeah, of course.
So he's sitting there quizzing me and my dad has his own eclectic taste. So I'm getting to listen to R&B, jazz, gospel. It was all through my dad's taste and my grandfather's taste. And so I'm listening to Anita Baker because that's what they playing, and right at the turn of the 90s. And I know it seems like how you gonna remember the 90s, and I'm literally 5 when 1990 started.
Right.
But I literally remember hearing at 6 years old Crisscross, and it was so different than hearing Anita Baker. Just Keybeaux, Bryson. It was like the rhythm. It was about the rhythm, and it wasn't about the chords and the here and now. It wasn't about all that.
Right.
It was about rapping. I'm totally crossed out. It was like my brain got rewired when I heard Crisscross.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden I become obsessed with rap. I couldn't turn back.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't abandon R&B, but I was like, what is this? And I was in the middle of what we now know as New Jack Swing.
Mm-hmm.
I was right in the middle of that. That's when I became aware of it in full. That I remember that point. Everything else before that, I mean, I knew about Run DMC a little bit, but it wasn't played in my house. So,
right.
But once Crisscross hit, it was you couldn't avoid it. And then all of a sudden, I'm obsessed with hip hop.
Okay. When it comes to music, you have people like your grandfather, your father, Crisscross,
Mm-hmm.
and so can you tell me, any other person that encouraged you, to go on this path, and what inspired you, to be in the genre that you're currently in?
As a child, hip hop wasn't seen as a real genre. It's seen as a fad. So that's by older people. But growing up, that was everything, because hip hop wasn't just the music; it was the culture, it was the way we dressed, it was the way you got your haircut, mm-hmm. It was the magazines, it was omnipresent. So it wasn't like I needed an older person to validate it, because everybody, from my cousins to my friends to people at school, we're seeing it unfold, and and the new rules are being built each passing month. Every month something new happens in hip hop, and we're like, oh, okay, this is the new thing. Okay, we on this. Okay, we on that. So it was never a validation. It wasn't even a thought to do this as a career. It was basketball.
Sure.
But it wasn't until high school where I didn't make the team one of the semesters, and I was like, well, I'm gonna just rap this semester. I'm gonna just make songs until the next tryout, and that tryout never happened, but I'm still doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, yeah.
As far as your path is concerned, and since for me being in Japan for such a long time, I've come to realize,
sure,
for where I stand, that everything happens for a reason. And so
mm-hmm.
the fact that you didn't make the basketball team or whatever, maybe it might have been a stepping stone to a different direction that you're currently in, and it may be something bigger and better that's waiting for you down the road, or whatever. You just go into the path that that you're currently into. And I'm gonna go back to the very beginning that you're that you stated, described yourself. I'm gonna throw into entrepreneur, which I think I did say that at the very beginning anyway. And so
yes.
Can you explain as far as your involvement with Fiverr?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's such a great thing to run into it, because I couldn't say that my business acumen or understanding was very knowledgeable. I didn't understand profit losses. I didn't understand supply and demand. I took a class, but I was so obsessed with the lyrical aspect and the artistry of music that I couldn't see beyond that. So even marketing, even the way I looked, I didn't care about it. I said my songs will do what it needs to do, but that's truly not the case.
Sure.
I got to learn that through Fiverr. I found it when I needed some artwork done, and I looked online, and they got some designers, and I said, oh, well, for a good price, I can get some work. Never thought to sell my skills on them. It wasn't until I was in between jobs, and I saw that somebody was rapping on there, and I said, man, if I ever sign up for this thing, I'd probably kill it.
Right.
I was like, but I ain't about to do it. But I got caught in a mix where I was like, I need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it as some side money, and I started to realize, like, oh, people do want this, but how do you market yourself? How do you let people know you're on here? So I made a little video, and I started to understand marketing a bit better. I had to figure out a pricing point for my services. Is it too low? Is it too high? Then I had to come to grips of my artistry. Like, what am I? Am I an artist, or am I like a work for hire artist? I didn't even understand what I was doing, but I knew that I was getting paid. So it was all trial and error, learning as I went, understanding contracts, making a business account. Like, I didn't know none of this stuff. So and I slowly understood that your services, you gotta know your worth, and how can you diversify all the skills that you gained over the years, and entrepreneurship came to be. So it wasn't just about the music and the writing. It was about selling yourself and marketing. Yeah. So, but the business came second. The music was always first.
Sure. But again, I truly believe, at this point in my life and everything happens for a reason, and due to the fact that the path that you're in, bigger and better things will be coming along the way, just as long as you keep your mind straight, you love yourself, respect others, of course, and get rid of the haters, of course, along the way, and just wise moves, strategic moves, things like that, and the Almighty will definitely gift you with love, not riches as in like money or whatever, but just being grateful. I know what you mean. Right, being grateful for for everything and what you've done, not only for yourself but for others as well. So
absolutely, I couldn't agree more with everything said.
So
it's true.
Yes. Yeah. So like I said again, keep going, keep going, get better. And stay away from the knuckleheads. Stay away from the knuckleheads. And I'm gonna tell you honestly, before I gave you a call, I was listening. I was rocking your the track that I played on episode 91. I'm feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. That was tight. It was.
Oh man. Thank you so much.
No, it really was. It was a good positive, positive move for me and everything. The fact that I get myself motivated for this conversation and things like that. I really appreciate you actually making that.
That means a lot.
And hopefully the podcast will, and this conversation will elevate your audience as well too. So most definitely.
Well, every conversation elevates something, and I'm grateful to even have it. So thank you for even considering. I looked at the amount of songs I've done since I started this, and it's over 8,000 with Fiverr since 2016. I can't even fathom that number. That's not the 8,000 songs.
Right.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm super grateful, but that's why I say the music comes first, because if I was focused on business, I'd run out of ideas. But I'm not. I'm just really focused on what makes me want to say something. What is there to say? And then, just like we're having a conversation, that's how easy it is to write a song. There's a million different things you could say, different ways to slice it. So there'll always be new music to make. It'll never run out.
Sure. And speaking about that, can you tell me how you approach, how to make a song or so, or lyrics to a song, things like that?
Of course, it's I'll probably make it overly simplified, and I don't mean to be like flippant about it, but I've done it a while, and the beginning stages of making songs is way more in your head. But after you've done it for a while, you understand that it's like a conversation. You don't overthink it. You don't say, I want this lyric to be amazing. I want this song to move mountains. You've already messed up. You don't have a say so in that.
Sure.
You write what the music's telling you to feel, or a line that makes you feel, oh, that's pretty fire, and you let it, and you gotta let it come out as you go, and then maybe you tweak it a little, but you do not have a say so on what's viral, what's a hit. You have no control over that.
Right.
That's not your thing. Your thing is to make the thing that makes you feel something and release it and move on to the next thing. Because I guarantee you, the songs that an artist loves is usually not the songs that actually are hits. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are hits, they usually don't even like them. It's like, y'all like that? Look at Usher's song. I think he even mentioned that. He was like, I ain't really like it, yeah. And he's like, how you don't like yeah? I got other songs I really like.
Right.
So an artist usually is the worst person when it comes to the songs that connect with people. But that's what I'm saying. So yeah, you got to keep writing. You write as much as you have conversations. You write every day. You write a line, and you get comfortable with the relationship with music and words. That's why certain words work on music and they don't. Mm-hmm. But that's the only way to find your voice and all that is you keep writing and you keep recording and keep writing and recording, and you're gonna start to get into that 10,000 hour thing where you just get so comfortable with songwriting you don't even think about it. And that's the Jordan thing. Jordan practices so much, or Kobe practiced so much, or LeBron practiced so much that when it's time to play the game, that muscle memory.
Right.
You turn off your brain and you can just go react. That's what it is. You actors and actresses, they rehearse their parts so much to the point where when it's time, when the camera goes, they don't think, they react. Mm-hmm. That's exactly where you need to be to make the songs that are your strongest work. You don't want to be thinking. Your brain is terrible. It's trying to tell you the right things to do. It's trying to be logical. Come on. Music's not supposed to be all logic. Come on, man. It's feeling. That's the reason why we cry over music.
Right.
It's not logic. It's not logic. There's logic involved in the technical aspect, but no. I don't want to hear a song that's technically perfect. That's boring.
Right.
It's boring.
Preach.
Yeah, that's boring. That's boring. I want to hear somebody crying and it's not coming down when you have a speech and you connect with people. It's never about perfect. It's about feeling and emotion. So the only way to get there and get comfortable with your voice and is to write every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Inside of me, stuck in the dark and hoping somebody is finding me. Sick of the lies, now it's a life full of honesty. No more biting my tongue and no longer waiting silently for a different path. Something that makes me feel alive. No regrets, really no reason I should apologize for emotions that I have. Just gotta let it rise. Do I need to break it down? Are you picking up the vibes? People say that I'm different, I knew it since the beginning. I try to blend with the crowd, but it's obvious I don't fit in. So I'ma follow my heart and just live the life that I wanna. I never needed permission or try to make a persona. On a mission for greatness, a bigger dream that I'm chasing. So you can say what you feel, but to me it's not information. It's only words with no purpose. I tell you now, I don't need it. I'm turning thoughts into actions, the negative gets deleted. I'm feeling all an illusion. What are we doing? We pretend, but it's all a facade. If you feeling what I'm feeling, then I gotta applaud. Got me looking in the mirror and I'm seeing my scars. If you question everything, then your life will be hard. But I can never turn back. It's my truth and I'm sharing it. The future's uncertain, but I'm not fearing it. My friends calling me a conspiracy theorist. I'm always talking the realest, but you ain't hearing it. An outcast, yeah, I've been that. Still mentally sharp, sanity is intact. They will not control me or my inner voice. Everything on the outside is really noise. Your version of reality is what I will avoid. Who I really am, people wanna see destroyed. Slow your roll, feeling invincible. physical now. They'll never figure me out, I'm on another level. Yeah, I'm talking mentally now. You feel the energy, I see many pretend to be wild. I really live on the edge, I'm never faking my style. Finding who I am is a gift. Life is more than the fame, the cloud are getting rich. Fake friends take advantage and then they wanna switch. You see the battle and the pressure that I'm up against. But when you are authentic, then you really never lose. If anybody try to stop you, they better move. They say they will, on the real though they never do. So just ignore every single thing they telling you. Yeah, I believe in it. I got a vision and I know I'm achieving it. And I'm free to be whoever, whatever, and I say repeatedly. That's my real advice and what I'm feeling like.
Can you tell me as far as what your music is all about?
It's varied over the years. Originally, it was about mimicking the artists that inspire me. Then the next phase was about how I'm the best rapper. And then after that ran dry, and I was like, I'm hearing other music, and I'm like, man, what else is there to talk about? Do I actually talk about my life? So then it was about my life and about people not believing. And then after I realized, I'm like, it's more just about, because it's rap, it's hip hop, but it's also R&B. So it's really, it crosses the gambit. It goes to ideas of the future. It goes to, but it's not. I don't put it in a bubble like it's strictly just positive. Because in reality, I don't rap about profanity, things with profanity or violence, but that's such a small portion of what you can sing about. So there's no need for me to even say that. It's really just whatever I'm feeling at the time, and I leave it open.
Sure.
I'll never cap it and say I'm just going to talk about these things and that's it. Because really, I may want to talk. Stevie Wonder had an album, Secret Life of Plants. So if I say I want to make a song about plants, I don't know if I will. Mm-hmm. Or the stars, I don't know. But there's never just one thing, area of interest. It's pretty much things that I feel like I want to say. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about today or tomorrow, or when I hop on the keyboard. I don't know. I never know. Yeah.
It just happens at that point.
It's always the truth. Whatever I'm going to say is the truth. Whether it's fictitious, but I feel it. So that's what I consider the truth. Whatever I'm feeling.
Very interesting. I mean, it really is. The fact that, I don't know, it's sort of like, the steps. It's almost like the way Nas grew up, his evolution. Mm-hmm. And so, it's about, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but, the drugs mm-hmm. and the gangs and the street right. life and things like that. And as he got older and more mature and more knowledgeable, so then he started thinking about,
right.
How to create a business, how to help people and things like that. Or so,
mm-hmm.
so I guess along the way,
mm-hmm.
Growing up, getting the experience versus the knowledge. I mean, and the knowledge,
right.
I should say, and versus
right.
Seeing the world for what it really is. It can be such a beautiful thing, but at the same time, you just gotta understand, from within who you really are as a person.
Yeah. No, first off, Nas is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I studied him, not just listen. I studied.
Sure.
And the thing about it is, you nailed it. He told you in real time as the times went on where he was in life and what he thought about life. But it always felt so honest and real. But also, you got people that are more abstract, like Missy, who I also studied.
Mm-hmm.
And she may have songs that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It just feels so good. And growing up in the South, so close to the Caribbean, I used to listen to a lot of the rhythms, and a lot of that stuff, and a lot of their concepts were they'd have a singular idea, but it was about the drums, and that's what Missy reminds me of. So you have to find out who you are as an artist. Are you more specifically about the lyrics and not about the energy of the music, or are you about both? And so being exposed to so much across the board, even Louisiana music, New Orleans, I had to find out where does my voice fit and what is my honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
Did I grow up in the hood? No. I grew up in the suburbs. Do I have to talk about violence? Because I really don't know much about it. So then, like Tyler the Creator, if you're familiar with him, he kind of had this. He said, like, I didn't grow up in that. So if I'm honest, I don't have anybody that's talking about a suburban black kid experience.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I'm gonna just make the things that I feel. And it resonated with so many people. You know what I'm saying? Because we've only heard certain storylines growing up in the hood. We heard that was pretty much the predominant storyline in the 90s and early 2000s. And I'm like, bro, there's so many not in the hood, but we got to hear other stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean by tell the truth, be honest, you know. And even if you don't hear anybody else mentioning it, that's actually the best time to say your piece. Say what it is, because I guarantee you're never alone in any experience. But that's why I say I don't know what I want to say, but I just know there's a lot of things that I've experienced I haven't heard anybody put in songs, and that's what the future holds. And it's exciting because it's like, am I ready to talk about this? Is this even going to be a good song?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if it's a good idea, that don't mean it's a good song.
Yeah.
Because it might be super boring. It's like on paper, theoretically, this is great, but I don't want to play it again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah.
Speaking of Nas, speaking of Misty, so do you have any bands or singers that you really like when you were younger, and why?
Oh, for sure. These are great questions. Thank you for these questions. Growing up, it literally, whatever touched my ear, it was so many. Outkast, UGK. I love Pimp C. Playing the instruments and singing, that just blew me away. R&B, everything R&B, D'Angelo, Jodeci,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Mr. Robert, the name we shall not name, studied him a lot. He was super influential, but since he's off the grid, I'm just
let's just leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. But one person that I studied even more, that I'm still blown away that he's still creative to this day, is Babyface.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Babyface. The fact that he was literally in the beginning of New Jack Swing, and also Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam. I studied them heavy.
Mm-hmm.
He was at the beginning of New Jack Swing. He has some of the most timeless. He pretty much was the '90s, bro. He was killing it with the songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as a songwriter myself, I studied his chord progressions. I studied his choices with just everything, and I just was so blown away. I was always so blown away by his stuff, even to this day. So R&B I studied because, yes, it's not the same as rap, but when you look at the history of rap, they needed R&B to kickstart the sound. They used break songs. They used the breaks of the songs, of all these hit songs, and then they, looped it.
Mm-hmm.
So without sampling James Brown, without sampling, disco records, hip hop, I don't know how it would have taken off just yet. It just would have been stuck in the Gil Scott-Heron poetry style, which is awesome. But, that's what I'm saying. So to be a great producer, you got to study all of it. And I'm saying, like, I love the production of making music as well as songwriting, as well as performing. And Babyface, I always get in awe of his technique. But that's one person I studied. But Eminem, studied him a lot. Ludacris. Another person, which he's in trouble too, Mystical. I studied him a lot. Because I never knew what he was going to say. Same with Eminem. I just was always like on the edge of my seat. And I just love when I hear an artist and I don't know how they're going to approach it.
Mm-hmm. It's
always exciting. It's like a chill in my body. So I used to be like excited about his performance. And then I'm always just making this answer long. Sorry.
No. Please keep going. This is gold. That you're giving us.
Okay. I studied Twista. That was another person I discovered. I studied him because I was just like, he's not only the fastest, but he was the most, when it comes to syllables, he was so sharp. There was nobody like him. And the songs was jamming.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, he blew me away. But if I had a titular artist that encompassed everything that I wanted to do, even though I don't sound nothing like him, it would be Prince. I didn't discover the magnitude of Prince until I was 21. And my friend, I worked at a record store, and my friend was like, "Have you ever seen Purple Rain?" I said, I ain't really, Prince cool. I ain't really. And he said, "Mike, you ain't see." I said, and this was around the time I just started learning how to produce beats. I was already rapping, but he said, he put it in my hand and said, "Go watch it tonight." So I bought it. And I was like, "Man, that was cold." He said, "This man writes all the music, produces, plays all the instruments." I said, wait. He what? And I was just learning how to play guitar and piano. So then I went back and got his his greatest hits with B-sides. I got Emancipation album.
Mm-hmm.
I started studying it, and I got the bootleg songs. I was obsessed with it, and I was like, "This is my favorite." It's because the difference between him and, let's say, Stevie or MJ is that he released everything, whereas MJ was like tighter about his releases.
Right.
Stevie was also tighter about his stuff. Like they just released a Stevie Wonder unreleased stuff on a compilation, but Prince, we just let it out, and I was like, "Bro, this is like amazing. There's no other artist that I can compare that release to this quality or this quantity other than Lil Wayne."
Uh-huh.
And that's completely hip hop. So then I started to study like how he approached songs, and he just didn't overthink it. So then I was like, this is my favorite artist of all time, because he just doesn't have a barrier of the ideas of his songs,
uh-huh.
and also the approach, with When Doves Cry not having a bass line, his production style. I just was like, I couldn't stop like becoming a huge fan of all of his works.
Right.
So I would say that was one person that I was just completely in awe of, and not for the spectacle, but from the technical aspect of him in the studio and just like work, knock it out, go to the next song, making a song a day. So yeah, I've done that quite a few times in my life, just for months, make songs a day. I do that now,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But for other people, but for myself, it's one of the greatest things to do something every day. You come into this matrix where you start to see the zeros and ones of something. Whatever you're trying to become great at, you start to see it in a whole different way when you do it every day.
Making a wrong turn can have my legacy threatened. Becoming a legend, I reckon I came up from a peasant. Giving back was automatic, I started learning my lesson. How I can stay up in the present is amazing. While traversing through this plane and becoming painless. My frequency raised, so is my bank, I really made it. These other homies faking and their music's really aimless. Moving past these chapters, I done came up from the basement. Harmony and like a later check and getting placements. My whole aura shapeshift, straight toward the greatest. Lot of people in the crowd, I'm really good at learning phases. Made my people proud and now my music takes me places. Tried to tell I'm more than talent that I'm putting on these pages, but you gon' see what's gon' happen when I step up on this stage. It's only reeking flows and passion. I can see I'm gonna make it A-list. Moments and phases I face to elated, the world's gonna make you. But watch where you stepping, cause life is that nice and you don't wanna break through. But you wanna break through. But don't let it break you. But you wanna break through. But don't let it break you.
Don't let the world make you throw in the towel and give up. Gotta be proud of the person you see in the mirror. I know the feeling of uncertainty is a killer. Life is a roller coaster and it could be a thriller. When it goes up and down, tell yourself that I can't stop now. Running at a fast pace, looking for the cheese in a rat race. Overcome any challenge, it ain't nothing you can't face, for real. Speaking facts when I give advice, it's a reason that these visions keep me up at night. I'm so hungry for success and got a big appetite. Ray-Bans on my face because yeah, my future is bright. I've been dealing with life, walking on thin ice. Keeping faith in my path gives me a reason to fight. And if I die, that is something I just gotta accept. So I live in the moment with no fear and any regrets, for real.
Moments and phases I face to elated, the world's gonna make you. But watch where you stepping, cause life is that nice and you don't wanna break through. But you wanna break through. But don't let it break you. But you wanna break through. But don't let it break you.
Right, you're seeing what is truly real, what is truly organic, what is truly
Right.
fascinating. specifically for you
Exactly.
and for the world, for the world to listen to. And because you mentioned the Prince, one of the reasons why we're laughing so much is because it brought me back to when I took a trip to Thailand a long time ago. I was just,
Oh yeah.
and I was in Bangkok, and I went into this one record store, and next thing you know, I was just browsing around, and all of a sudden, I found the old bootleg version of the Black Album.
Oh, the Prince Black Album.
Yes, and it was extremely expensive at the time and everything. But
of course,
right. But at the same time, I knew that it was copied and all this other stuff, but I bought it anyway. Just do
got to.
Just for the fact that it was Prince. It had his music in there. It was one of the albums that I didn't have at the time. So I'm like, to get it, and we just go ahead and buy it, and no regrets ever since. So,
man, see, that's a cool story. Thank you. That Black Album, he pulled it because he felt it was too much, and that's only as a fan. You're like, well, I need that. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
That's exactly what I need. One thing all artists can learn from Prince, but not just Prince. Like, there's a lot of people, especially now at the quantity of music people release. Every song that you make is important. There's no such thing as a bad song, really, because every time you record or put an idea down, you're creating a universe of your artistry. And the reason why Prince, I gravitated to him so much is because when I actually discovered how dope he was, it's like he already built so many planets for me to visit.
Sure. And
planets being albums, and every song is a city.
Right.
So when you make music at a high volume and release it at high volume, nothing is in vain, because when a person discovers you, or they like you, or they find your story intriguing, then they get to visit all these things and find things that they love, and the songs that may have not been a hit, they be like, oh my gosh, I love that song, I love it. So then I started to look at music differently. Instead of trying to make a hit, you gotta make the thing that makes you tick and release it to the world. And that's one of the major reasons why I was so blown away by his music. And and then when you become a fan of Prince, there's levels. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if somebody says they like Prince, they're like, what you like? And they say When Doves Cry. Oh, okay, I ain't gonna ask no more.
Right.
And then if you say some deep cuts, like like the Truth album, or I don't know, just anything beyond the stuff they play on the radio, it's like, okay. And not that it matters, but it kind of does, because it's like, then there's a whole world of people that just super fans of it. And if you got the Black Album, that's kind of what I'm talking about too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and I had to find it in Thailand, halfway around the world or whatever, and it was sort of like
crazy.
Yeah, but at the same time,
crazy.
2 words: no regrets. No regrets at all.
No regrets. No regrets.
Yeah, and just like you were stating,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and like you just stated, it takes me to another land, takes me to another planet, and discover something new, something more beautiful, something so unique. So I think that's one of the greatest things of what Prince was all about to me. And probably to millions of other people as well too.
Of course, it's true. Went to Paisley Park in 2019. Obviously after he passed, it was 3 years. So it became a museum, just as his wishes were. I found out, and I got to go in there. I thought I'd be emotional. I'm like, nah, it was really just cool, super cool seeing the book that he had on his desk that he was reading about Egyptian. And if you saw his later albums, he had the Third Eye Girl, and so I get to see him like exactly what he was about. Even little pieces, I got to see just everything, his guitars, his piano, and I was like, man, it's just really cool that he made his entire life about music. You didn't know much about him through interviews, but people connected dots through his music. So that made me realize, like, I don't got to talk about my life all the time. I could put it in my music, and that's the therapy. Sure. And I love that. I love it.
I done came a long, long way from where I started. Friends went their separate ways and we departed. Was a starving artist paying $600 for a small apartment. Now the bank account's enormous. Wife is gorgeous, everything I ever wanted. Waited my whole life for success. Ain't no looking back, no regrets. I am considered the best. Sick as hell and I need Mucinex. 2016 was a trip. Lost my job and Big Ken. Man, still can't believe that we lost Big Ken. Had a microphone and a dream. Got songs played in the Philippines. I've been rapping since 16. Let no one thoughts intervene. My mama and my daddy prayed I would be a doctor, a lawyer, maybe even a pharmacist. But I was interested in killing my competition. Called the coroner and carry out the carcasses. Yo, this the outro. New Jack City, I'm playing Nino. Got no fear, do what I want to. This that little shop of Keybeaux. Making love on the track. Clack, clack, we be knocking boots. Trendsetter, if I make a move, everybody will follow suit. No boss, but I pay myself. God before everybody else. Make my own beats, write my own rhymes. I just call myself if I need help. I call John Boy if I need a win. Record labels gotta sign me with him. Find me a pen, I need it bad. Like a single lady screaming, I need a man.
As far as you're concerned, how do you make up a track? You already gave some examples and things like that. Can you briefly give like a process from beginning to end of how you approach a song?
For sure, yeah. Every approach is different, given our work for hire for people. So sometimes people will provide me with a track and they'll tell me, do your thing, or they'll tell me a concept. So that's me just strictly being the rapper featured on their production. Sometimes my brother will do production, and then I'll do my thing on there. The reason why I outsource beats sometimes, because even though I make beats, is when you cook dinner at your own home, is one thing. You know every little piece that was in there. So there's no surprise when you taste it. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly how much you put in there.
Right.
But when you eat someone else's food, it's like, oh, man, how much you put? You don't really know. Uh-huh. So you get an excitement of the unknown. So when production comes from my brother, I don't know why he chose that sound, but I like it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have chose that sound. And now my songwriting is different. My approach is different because I don't know all the ingredients he put in there. I don't even know why he chose that. And that's what the juxtaposition of the unknown is exciting for me. So my approach is not always the same, mm-hmm. but when it comes to my production, I like to start. I usually like to start with the melody. I can't help it because that's the thing that sticks. But because it's rap, I do the drums second most of the time. So even though I'm supposed to go first, but I like the melody first.
Sure. Melody
is what I sing when there's no music, and then I start laying down a bass line because that's also a rhythm and a melody. Once I have those, I have enough like melody and a bass line and kick and a snare. That's enough for me to put down the idea.
Okay.
I don't need anything else. And then sometimes I send it to my brother like, I don't know what else to add, bro. And then he puts all this funky drums. I'm like, no, I don't know how you came up with that. And he said, I don't know how you came up with that. So, yeah. But once I got the idea down, I get lazy. I'm like, that's fire enough for me. Right. And that's the dope part about having collaborators because they hear exactly what's missing. Uh-huh. So I don't ever want to say I take all the credit for my production, but everything I write, there's nobody else that touches the pen.
Sure.
I'm very adamant about like I write all my stuff because I know I feel confident there's nobody that's going to be able to say what I need to say like I need to say. There's nobody. They don't exist.
Right.
So why would I need anybody else to say what I need to say?
Having inspiring people around you, you can become greater along with the people that can be greater in their own way. So thank you for sharing that part. Definitely.
So, yeah, it's fun, man. I still feel like 15, 14, first learning.
Right.
It's fun.
It's forever learning.
It's fun performing it. Yeah, it's fun to perform without any of the studio, just rapping a cappella, mm-hmm. which I feel like you don't see that often. And I love it because that's like stripped down. How impactful is what you're saying? Mm-hmm. And that's where I really got to learn that my stuff was not tight when I started. Because I went to Texas Southern University for several semesters, and this is the main walkway is called the Tiger Walk. It's a historically black university, HBCU, mm-hmm. and I'm sitting there rapping my little lines, and they rap over you if it's not good. If you don't have enough punchlines, if you don't sound confident. So I'm sitting there looking like crazy, like what? So then I got to go back to the drawing board and then come back to the Tiger Walk, and I'm just like very, very confident. And then you start to tweak it, and then you start to find your sound in real time, mm-hmm. not through music, not through songs. That's the difference with rap. Like we put so much emphasis on the verse, at certain times. So it's layered, but that's why I love hip hop. That's why I love it, because the verse is really the meat and potatoes of the experience. And a lot of times you think in a song it's the hook, but in hip hop, a lot of times it's like, man, you heard what he said on that verse,
right?
But in pop music, it's like, we're gonna it. It's just like you just want to just keep repeating something so you can just bob your head and
right,
and wait for the drop. It's like drop, bam, 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 and it's just not, I love it, but it's supposed to just be drunk or something. I don't know.
Right.
And then hip hop is like, bro, I don't know how you flip them words, man. It's just, I gotta run it back. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going off of the 10, but I just love it. I love it all.
No. You are not going off.
Yeah.
You're not going off the rails or anything like that. You speaking truth. So again, you're giving gold to what the world needs to listen to. So now,
one more person, Devin the Dude. That's another person that I highly love.
Devin the Dude.
He's from Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from Houston too.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what was your big break when it comes to music in your life, what was the one event that changed everything for you, in your life, especially when it comes to music?
For sure. I had a couple of moments that they were big to me, but in hindsight, they weren't my biggest. Let me see, I'm thinking. It was a time in 2010 where there's a local TV show for artists that premiere their music videos called Street Flavor. It's been around for a long time. And I got a camera from Best Buy, didn't know how to use it. I shot a video for one of my songs with my coworker at my job at the time, and it was like, bro, you should put it on Street Flavor. And it was, if you know about filming, this is the ISO, it was just washed out. I didn't know what I was doing with the camera. It did not look great, but it was what I did. So I submitted it, and the guy was like, man, this is positive. It's not cussing. I'm going to premiere it. I was like, well, how much y'all got to pay? He said, no, it's positive. I'm going to run it. And so they played it, and mind you, I watched Street Flavor as a kid. So to see it on there and to see people, I had somebody who was incarcerated at the time that said they saw it. I just saw people talking about it, and I never had anything beyond I'm trying to do music. So that was like the biggest thing. And I actually got emotional. Like when I was watching, I started crying. So I was like, wait, and I'm 20 something. So I'm thinking like, man, this is for real. I think I actually might be able to pull this off. But that wasn't it. But it was to me. And so I'm performing, I'm doing things, I'm doing everything I can. Nothing's working after that. And Fiverr was not supposed to be the thing that gets me going. It was literally just some side money. And I'm fast forwarding it. So I'm fast forwarding the time frame. So I'm doing it. I'm probably making maybe minimum wage rapping verses here and there on Fiverr for several months. It wasn't until these YouTubers in 2017, it was like a big deal. They would go on Fiverr and tell people to say crazy stuff, and they use it as content. And they found me, and it was like, hey, make a song about me, and I'll put it on my YouTube. And I didn't know YouTubers, so I just did it, and they said, check it out. And there's 1 million people that saw it. I said, how 1 million people? I don't even know who this person is. It just, who is this?
Right.
What 1 million people know this mess? And I see me, and everybody's like, oh, I love it. Who is he? And then the guy who hired me is like, man, do another one and put this on Spotify. And I was like, I don't know how to use Spotify. I still know CDs and SoundCloud. He's like, bro, figure it out. You're going to make some bank. So I had to make the song, put it on Spotify. And again, millions of people saw it. And then everybody comes to Fiverr and is like, yo, I saw you on this. Can you rap about me? Or can you do this? And as the numbers go up, my ratings go up and my exposure goes up. And then that was literally the catalyst that pushed me over the edge for people to find out what I was doing. And so, yeah, I credit that moment to the breaking point of exposure. And then that came with so many different things, Netflix, people, a bunch of YouTubers, PlayStation games, stuff I didn't even imagine would even be possible on making songs for. It really tripped me out. Bic, the shaving company.
Oh yeah.
They hit me up. I was like, this can't be real, bro. What is happening? They hit me up and yeah. So it was things I didn't even think about monetizing that they would hit me up. But with success and with things that happen, I think Oprah said, success comes when preparation meets opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in the building. There was nobody else in the building. You know, I'm saying figuratively, nobody else was in the building. I was there. So it's not about me being the best rapper, the coldest songwriter, the greatest pianist. It wasn't about best. It's like, are you in the building? Are you there? Who's here? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who's here? And a lot of the big breaks for actors and actresses, they just got to keep popping up where they're looking for talent, and they just keep popping up. And then when they need somebody, hey, you come here, and then that's the break. So you just got to be there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like
gotta be there.
Yeah, it's almost like a basketball team or whatever. The guy that rides the bench all the time, whatever, and then until the coach tells them, hey, you're up. You got to be ready.
Yes, got to be ready. And then they cook, they kill it.
Yes.
And they say, yo, I'm gonna get you to go again. And then before you know it, they're a household name because they just so ready. They overly ready.
Right.
Comedians are like that all the time. There's so many comedians that literally get overlooked, and then when they finally get seen, one of my favorites is Godfrey. I don't know if you're familiar with him. They just been so cold for so long behind the scenes, and when the light gets on them, they're so prepared. It's insane, and they have sometimes the longest what do you call it? Careers. The ones that are not popping from the jump. They're the ones that just be cooking behind the scenes so long, and when they get it, they don't go nowhere.
Sure.
So yeah.
Stay humble. They stay. I'm assuming that they probably stay humbled and because of all.
Super. They don't. Yeah. Nothing happened at the beginning. Not big, so they don't have any choice but to stay humble and just keep working. So yeah, some of my favorite, I guess, influential people had that kind of similar circumstance where they just not seen, and when they are seen, they just too cold. It's a book about that. It says, be so good they can't deny you. I forgot the name of it, but I read it and I was like, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everything of what you're saying, that's one of the, I try to live my life that way, whatever. Just keep grinding, believe in yourself, of course, have faith,
right.
Just enjoy life as much as you possibly can. And then when that time comes, be ready for it.
Ooh, be ready.
And everything.
Be ready. And you're right. Yeah.
So
pray, meditate, be in tune.
Mm-hmm.
That's super important because it's kind of like fasting. I mean, I'm only speaking from my own experience with meditation and fasting.
Mm-hmm.
The body tries to talk to you, and you can't hear it if it's always inflamed with foods and things that we eat. Just normal, grease and all that stuff.
Right.
So the moment that you can't eat anything, all of a sudden your body can communicate. Your digestion's different, and your clarity is different.
Mm-hmm.
So meditation is the same way. Clear your thoughts with social media, with your phone. Your clarity is different. You got to make sure that you take care of yourself in that way, because you can really understand what you want out of life, what you really want, and then you can also download the things that people have said that you overlook. Because it ain't until somebody died that you start to replay what they said last. Like, what did they say? What is it? But we're just too. Yeah. We're too go more.
Right.
But when you can take time to stop for a second, because your subconscious is so crazy powerful. It's guiding us all the time. It's the driver, but you can't get to there unless you shut off the conscious mind. I know it sounds like some Confucius stuff I'm saying,
no.
I'm speaking from experience.
No,
yeah.
It is not Confucius stuff. In fact, to me, it is probably part of Confucius, philosophy or so. It can be so much, so many more. Again, that's one of the greatest things for me. Put myself in this situation where I'm living in Japan, understanding the culture. I mean, there are a lot of Western ways of thinking or whatever around here, and with the stores and the fashion and things like that or so. But there's also a part where yourself comes in, your spirituality, the ether, if you believe in that. I mean, just started.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right, and just started reading "Think and Grow Rich" by Napoleon Hill for the third time, and it talks a lot about ether. You're saying whatever you say into the air, it may come into fruition and things like that. So positive vibes or whatever, or meaningful vibes, things like that. So, and everything.
Yeah. No, I love that book, and Ether. The name's interchangeable. Everyone has their own beliefs in what that is, but it's the truth. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it, the ether could literally be your subconscious. Subconscious picks up on things that we can't even fathom. That's what I believe, because how your dreams are so vivid, and when you try to come up with that on your own, you just can't even think of a crazy idea like that. But that's your brain,
right?
Your brain it takes in so many different smells and colors. The amount of data that it takes in that you're not even aware of, that you overlook. Yeah, so I just love the fact that you can take time to reset and recharge, and that affects songwriting as well. It's not just unrelated to what we're saying. It's so important to be in tune, because if you want to be a highly productive or highly prolific artist, you gotta be fully in tune with everything you're about and pull from. That's why artists like we mentioned Nas or even Jay, mm-hmm. a lot of times they pull from the past in their lyrics. And I used to be like, why are they not always talking about what's new? But your childhood is everything. There's nothing from your childhood that doesn't affect you. So a lot of times they pull from those stories because it's true. It affects what they're doing to this day. And a lot of that is therapy in their music. And that's the way that they can relate to the listeners that they're listening to. Okay. So I don't know. I just love it. And there's an endless amount of stories and endless amount of different ways to look at your past that you can pull from today.
Right.
Because every year, every day is you look at it differently instead of how you looked at it in real time. That's why there's still endless stories about Tupac and Biggie, and people have different takes on it.
Sure.
I was like, how y'all not run out of this stuff? But it's literally because you're a different person looking at the situation differently mm-hmm. every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you are a music artist, so how's you mentioned it as far as, being at the right place at the right time or so. When it comes to the internet is concerned, how did it impact you when it comes to your music and your entrepreneurship?
Everything. It's a powerful tool, but you got to build a relationship with it that is a tool and not the end all be all. Not letting the audience that sees your work dictate where you should go next or what you should do next, because they don't know you. They don't really know your full story. That's the reason it's so powerful. It's powerful for e-commerce. If you're selling your stuff, it's powerful for exposure. If you're trying to let people know your story, but it always comes back to the story that you let people in on. If people can get your story, and they can follow you in your journey and continue to reintroduce your story to people, they'll be lifelong fans of whatever it is you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that's the power of the internet. Like, I get to follow this person and understand their story. And if they're selling something, I already like them. So
right.
The internet's so powerful. I used it. I first started when music. I first was introduced via MySpace. So I didn't really know what I was doing. Facebook as well. It wasn't until Instagram I started to use it as a tool to make little short videos of my songs and just treat it as almost like a TV, not a TV show, but like, my own little TV show. I'll do a little freestyle, post it. Mm-hmm. And that's the behavior of it. Always entertaining people. But it's such a powerful tool. But it's always different ways to use it. People use it differently. And I always like to see how people use it and learn and tweak. But I use it as just a megaphone for whatever it is I'm trying to share with the world.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna go to the opposite direction for just a tad bit, not too deep though, but can you not too deep? Can you tell us as far as what type, as far as a tough time that you experienced doing your music journey?
Oh, those are endless. I'm trying to think of one that's. I mean, those tough times are great retrospectively. But in real time, they stink. You know what I'm saying? I did a battle. I tried to do a battle rap. No. It was like a battle. I'm not a battle rap artist. Mm-hmm. I pretty much got booed off the stage. I think it was twice. Because I freestyled. I tried to freestyle it, and it was just, it was bad.
Right.
But that was cool. I mean, looking back, it was cool. I was like, I ain't gonna see these jokers ever again because I ain't coming back.
Right.
That was my, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't gonna see me again.
Right.
But all those are just part of the hustle and bustle of the wounds you gotta, the L's, the licks you gotta take. It's just how bad you want this, man. If that's gonna take you out, you ain't want this bad enough.
Right.
And it's always a sports related. That's why the basketball, the drive I had for basketball was like everything. And when music, I just swapped the passion over. But I want this more than anything. Like I wake up and think about it all the time as a child. Like I was obsessed. I literally was obsessed. I would study Twista's lines, Biggie's lines, go into the studio. And yes, it doesn't look like it makes sense when you 11th grade trying to rap. What career is that? That's not a career we can be proud of. You know, growing up with two pharmacists as parents, and they are already breaking generational cycles of poverty. They want to be proud of their children. So, and you got one of your children talking about they want to be a rapper. It's like, yeah, right. What's your plan A? Because that's a plan D. That's not real. We barely will entertain it. You know what I'm saying? But now I was like, this is the only thing I could think of. I'm getting B's and C's. I mean, I want to make music. And so there was a point where the prom came. Prom, high school prom. It said $300. Yeah, they said $300, but it fell on the same night as a music seminar for all these labels. And so they pretty much were like, prom, where I could ask this girl I was feeling at the time, or music. And I was like, music. we don't.
The passion.
We don't need to. It was, come on, man. I'm not about to pass this up.
Right.
And that pretty much encompasses everything about me. Is that music always came first, even if it didn't make sense to y'all. Made sense to me. So I'm like, I love this. Like, I'll be that kooky old man still talking about, check out this song I made, 80 years old. That's what I'm gonna be. And so I'm so grateful that the stars aligned. You know, God allowed the ether was in tune to allow me to be successful, because that's what I make money from to this day. But everything that I've experienced, I see it's really the thing that I saw in myself. I see it in other people in other careers. It's like, what do you have endless questions about? What are you willing to try and fail and try and fail? You will make it something out of this. You will. You just don't stop. And don't stop on, like, as a post or us talking about it sounds so good in words, but don't stop in real life looks crazy. Like, you still doing this? That looks crazy. Like, don't stop for like 10 years. It looks crazy. So don't stop on paper looks very inspiring, but in real life, it looks crazy.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. You got to be obsessed with it, and you can't seek outside validation, because I guarantee you, they think you're nuts. They won't tell you, but it looks crazy. I can't stress that enough. Like, really looking at it like you're doing the same thing and not getting anywhere. But that's the way you got to be for it to work. You got to be where everyone's at, and something can happen, but you just got to be there.
Sure.
That's it.
So, by you saying that, what was the best advice you ever received when it comes to the path that you're in right now in your music life and in your personal life? Of course, you don't need to go into your personal life too much, of course, but from the point that you're in right now, what was the best advice that you ever received?
Directly to me, like a mentor or somebody older, nothing's coming to mind. Nothing's coming to mind. And I'm not trying to be nothing. I felt like I was walking uncharted territory. I guess the best thing I could think of was, I self-taught myself piano via YouTube. So I guess YouTube was teaching me how to play piano. I never played when I was younger, so I learned as an adult, as well as guitar.
Sure.
And my grandfather's been around, amazing musician. He came and he saw me play a couple of years ago. My form probably wasn't great. And I think one of my cousins told me my form wasn't good when I posted it. But I was like, what? Leave me alone. And then my grandfather saw it, and I was playing. And then I was like, I know my form's not good. He said, no, grandson, play it. It sounds good to me. Mind you, he could have corrected me. He's a music teacher.
Right.
But he literally said, play it. If you're playing, do that. Everybody's got their own technique. Mm-hmm. And that was probably one of my favorite things, because looking at Little Richard, his playing technique, looking at his hands, I saw that how he slammed on his fingers wasn't the right way to do it. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to art, we find new ways of expressing ourselves by doing it the wrong way. And I just love that he could have corrected me, but he didn't. And I was like, man, I don't know. I had to really think, why did he not? We talking about a music teacher. They're going to check you, man, grandson, he could have did it, and I would have taken his advice, but he said, no, don't change nothing. I was like, wow. So I like that. I like that advice, because anybody who's had any success in an art field, I'm not the arbiter of telling you the right way to do nothing. I'm going to tell you what worked for me. I'm going to tell you, follow what works for you. It's really hard to tell somebody what's the right way, because music changes, the industry changes. So I'm not going to tell nobody what to do.
Sure.
Just what worked for me.
And as far as your granddad was concerned, that was probably the best advice that he gave you, by not saying anything, but just saying, just continue what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I saw it. I was like, it puzzled me, man. I was like, I'm waiting to hear some reprimands. And he said, nah, you got it. I said, okay. And I'm not a pianist. I don't consider myself a pianist. I play piano because it helps my production. But he was just shocked. And I bought my first musical studio from him. It was just a box with a microphone and faders, 4 faders. It was a four track. That's what it was. This was before Pro Tools or had access to it, a computer, so it was portable. And I bought it from him when I was 17, 18, and that was my first studio. So yeah, so he's pretty much been tied to my journey the whole time, but he doesn't take credit for it, and he doesn't say you got it from me. You know what I'm saying? Which I love, like, because realistically, he tried to get all his children to learn to do music, and none of them did it.
Right.
So when it comes to like an art, you don't have a. If my children do it, it's because they wanted to do it. Nobody can make you be an artist. An artist is just a person with endless questions, and they explore different ways to express their ideas and their questions. Yeah, that's why artists dress so weird to people, because it's like, why are you wearing that? It's like, because why are we all wearing these mute colors everywhere? Why are we wearing the same junk?
Right.
And it's just because we do. Now put it on.
It's uniquely.
I said, no, thank you. I want to wear this right now, and maybe tomorrow I'll wear something else.
Right.
But if you're uncomfortable, then that says more about you than it does me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's an artist, and there's different interpretations of questioning everything. So, yeah. Now, a musician plays music, and artist questions while they're playing music, or they still got questions. That's my interpretation of an artist. It's a question.
Right.
Yeah.
Questioning the status quo, questioning this, questioning.
Yeah.
You know, why is it this way? Here's a more beautiful way to observe.
Right. Yes.
Right. Observe what you're looking at or whatever. I see it differently than you, or whatever the case may be.
Yes. Preach. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's that simple to me. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so in other words, be who you are.
Be who you are. Unapologetic.
Yeah. Going right back to your,
Man.
Yeah, just going right back to your song, I'm feeling like, because the way that you wrote that song or so, like I said, it was powerful in the fact that you don't care what other people are saying. The people that come to you, they want to be your best friend at the very beginning, and then they turn around and, first thing goes wrong, they're running away. Or when things go good, oh yeah, or whatever the case may be. So
right,
you're doing what you're doing, and like I said, that I keep going back to that song, and it was so powerful for me. It really was. So I was like, I'm really happy that you actually made that song. So I'm definitely going to be play that song over and over and over again. That's for years to come.
That's love. That's a big going back to your question, that's a big component of what my music was about. The cornerstone is like ignoring people. I've said in a lot of songs, it's because I have to tell myself that their opinions don't matter. It's really hard growing up under the Bible Belt, growing up in the South, growing up where the presentation is more important than the internal or interpersonal relationships.
Right.
There's no shade to like my family or friends, but it's the truth. And a lot of my friends can agree. Mm-hmm. The presentation, especially being Black, and you don't want to be put into this stereotype. So you want to make sure you're prim, proper, educated. I have to look a certain way. Right. And it's like, but what if I'm feeling all these feelings? It's like, we'll deal with that later. We have people coming over. So make sure you don't look trashy. You pull your pants up. You don't wear that do-rag. Right. And then all of a sudden, before I can have an opinion, I got to make sure it's clear with the Black, what the ideal Black community would see.
Right.
So it's okay with what we consider to be our deity, our God. Mm-hmm. They can't be disrespectful or blasphemous. They can't be disrespectful to your Black community. They can't be disrespectful, coming from the South and the history. So then all of a sudden you start to want to say what you want to say less and less. And that's not the right way for an artist. You're supposed to say exactly what you want to say. And then you start to figure out who you're about. Censoring yourself before you say it is not the way to go.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I'm saying. So I had to find out the truth is nobody really cares what you think. It's just when you say something that makes them uncomfortable, then they say something. But 99% of the time, people are indifferent to whatever it is you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So I don't care. But the moment I say something that ruffles you, yeah, you shouldn't say that.
Right.
And that's the meat and potatoes of an artist. Like, it makes you feel something.
And I'm going to go back a little bit because you mentioned the Matrix and the way, if anybody's out there, familiar with the Matrix or so, of how, Neo became who he was and, things like that until he made the ultimate sacrifice or so. And it's everything of what you just stated. It seems to me that you are free. There's some things that we still need to work on, upon ourselves though. But at the same time, having that mentality to, correct me if I'm wrong, but having that type of mentality is probably what life is all about. Doing what you please. So making a contribution to the world, pleasing yourself, understanding who you really are. And so make it a difference. Things like that. Yeah, no. Yes. The connection you mentioned about being in Japan, and when you study about the history of Japan, juxtaposed from the pain that they've endured in just that place. Mm-hmm. And then you go there and visit and you see the beauty of the nature, of the people, of the food. When you really connect, what is your place in a big picture? You can't help but to get emotional. The fact you have, freedom and liberty to go there and visit. And you don't want to be destructive in any way when you start to realize the beauty of just being alive and being a part of nature's story, people's story. Right. You don't want to bring destruction because you're so grateful. Yeah. It's about gratitude. That's why history is really important, but also your history is important too. So it's not that we got to, learn history just so that we can just stay within these guidelines or rules of what happened. But you can understand, like, when you're on the grounds of any city in there, you realize that there was a lot of pain that has happened, and now you get to stand there, and now you can see, I got to bring good while I'm on top of this ground. Mm-hmm. I got to bring good when I talk to people. I got to leave a good legacy, and that's one of the most important things. If you mention what is my point in my music, if I can summarize it, just to bring some good to some degree, because I can't bring bad. There's no point. There's enough bad in every grain of dirt across this world. Bad has happened. So if I got breath in my lungs, I want to bring something that's of worthy or good through this powerful thing called music.
Woo. Living life. Hey, just being me. Good people, good energy. Every day, all day. Free. Gas in the tank, I'm ready to roll. Got a vibe and I'm feeling like never before. No stress, no sir, we letting it go. Just living it up, I'm letting them know we gon' have a good time. We deserve it. Been chasing dreams and looking for purpose. Where the party at? We've been searching. The world keeps turning. The passion's burning. We doing what we love, chasing the thrill. short, yeah, I gotta keep it real. Calling out of work, yeah, I just wanna chill. Go and take a flight, yeah, I wanna see the world. Bring a few friends with me, with good energy. No drama, ain't bringing negativity. That's all I ever need, like each and every day. Trying to be a better me and hoping I can elevate. Let's go.
I just wanna get away. Everybody needs a break sometimes. Tell me if you can relate. Working every single day, won't lie. Take a vacay and chill. I'ma tell you how I feel. Yeah, yeah. Free is the only way to live. I'ma tell you how I feel. Yeah, yeah.
Daydreaming, always living in a fantasy. Trying to turn my ideas to reality. I got a passion in the drive deep inside of me. Authentic, what I am, I don't try to be. So take a load off, we gotta zone out. Let's hit the freeway, get on the road now. Foot on the gas, we don't really wanna slow down. It's my life and I'm really in control now. Feel the summer heat, really nothing like the summertime. Glass in the air, everybody trying to unwind. This is what I need, making new memories. I just wanna hit the beach by the ocean, feel the breeze. Recharge, got me feeling on cloud nine. No matter what I'm going through, I'ma be fine. Everybody need a vacate from their problems. Right now I gotta be honest, I wanna get away.
I just wanna get away. Everybody needs a break sometimes. Tell me if you can relate. Working every single day, won't lie. Take a vacay and chill. I'ma tell you how I feel. Yeah, yeah. Free is the only way to live. I'ma tell you how I feel. Yeah, yeah. I just wanna get away. Everybody needs a break sometimes. Tell me if you can relate. Working every single day, won't lie. Take a vacay and chill. I'ma tell you how I feel. Yeah, yeah. Free is the only way to live. I'ma tell you how I feel. Yeah, yeah.
Everything I need, everything I want. Hey, we don't ever stop. Gotta keep it going. Hey, everything I need, everything I want. We don't ever stop. Gotta keep it going. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's the vibe that we on right now. The energy is amazing. Keep elevating. You know, straight up. Like that. Like that.
Preach, 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 preach. It's so
Yeah,
serious.
man.
I'm telling you, you dropping gold. You know, you're dropping gold all over the place, and then hopefully the listeners will eventually catch it and understand it and say, "Hey, I can make a difference too." So you are definitely you are definitely contributing. Thank you,
man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
And if you're listening, it's a beautiful thing to be here, be alive. You've already made a difference. You've already done it. You just don't realize it. So I love it. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point why we're here. And it's a beautiful time to be alive. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me.
What are your plans as far as future plans when it comes to music, album releases, or concerts, or guest appearances somewhere and things like that? Can you tell us more about that?
Of course. I'm always recording music and featuring on other people's work, but I'm working on some projects myself that I'll be releasing for streaming platform, but also on other platforms that I'll announce more, that are geared more towards like direct to consumer. Because at this present juncture, streaming isn't viable for artists, and it's a hot topic for so many people. Because as a consumer, you're like, bro, I just want to jam the music.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be super invested in the business side, but as an artist, you're like, I can't really make a living off of this, and it's making it difficult. So I've been fortunate to meet with a lot of different people and developers that are trying to find that middle ground, and that's really where I'll be releasing some of my work as well. But the most important thing is for it to be easily accessed to listeners and potential, fans. And so that you never want to make it hard. You got to click this link and go there and go there. No. You know what I'm saying? The most important thing is like to make it to where they can experience it, and that's pretty much the juncture I'm at with the business side and connecting with people. But music is gonna be nonstop in music videos. I don't have any shows lined up at the moment, but that'll come soon, and just more content and sharing stories. A lot of things, but it's gonna be it's already in the works as we speak.
The most interesting thing about yourself that people may not know about you.
Most interesting.
And you said a whole bunch of interesting, things about yourself, and as far as your music career, but you personally.
What I consider interesting, I don't know. Dang, that's a good question. But it's always gonna come to me way later, like a year later. Oh, I got it.
Well, maybe we can have another conversation a year later.
For sure. I would say it's probably gonna go back to entertainment. I'm a super huge fan of animation, and I discovered that it's possible to do it at a lower budget during quarantine through an app. So I made some small animation just with that, and then having my music playing and doing skits. So that's one of my pastimes. I wouldn't say that I'm an animator, but I love it so much. And looking at the history of hip hop, I kind of didn't even realize how many hip hop artists dabbled in animation. From Andre 3000, Kid and Play, MC Hammer. T-Pain did it in 2010 with this whole. And so being that hip hop is like an animated thing anyway, that's one of the things I just love. Akira is one of my favorite animated movies. Yeah. It was just, they did everything frame by frame. I just love it. And I grew up on Adult Swim, so that weird, irreverent, all that stuff, Boondocks, just all of that. I just love animation. It's such an amazing medium that I know that is not in favor. 3D animation is the main thing now, but I just love 2D style animation so much. I don't know if it's that interesting, but I would say that's one of my favorite hobbies that I'm still creating.
Well, in that case, then you might want to consider taking a trip to Japan, because it's all over the place. That's where it really
of course.
And everything.
Of course. That's big. Yes, man. I'm watching so many documentaries, seeing how they do it, and oh my goodness, my brother went to Japan, and I'm like, bro, I'm next.
Yeah, you gotta come. Because, like I said, it is.
I ain't leaving.
The place.
I ain't leaving. I'm gonna get so many souvenirs. Yeah. And I'm huge. I grew up a huge gamer as an adolescent, so all that stuff came from over there, man. Like Final Fantasy VII, Parasite Eve, talking about PS1 stuff. So yeah, of course, man. Japan has always been. At one point, my cousin who was in the Air Force, he had to stop in Japan, and he said, man, they got games I ain't even seen before. And at that time, he was right. Like, they would have games that were only there or came out early. So it wasn't like a global release. So he'd come and they'd have a different, I don't even think he could play them, but the fact that he could even get access, it used to blow my mind.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
But yeah, I would say that gaming and animation.
All right, cool. I mean, like I said, well, you just mentioned as far as the releases are concerned, there are some. I'm not a big game, gamer or anything like that, but I have seen like releases that they are only being released in Japan. So, and that's why you have a lot of people that come over here and then they buy it, and then they go back to their homeland or whatever, expect that it's going to work. I don't know exactly if, for example, your game, the PlayStations or the Nintendo, just been released like a couple days ago or something like that or whatever.
Yeah.
That it was like reverse compatible or country coded compatible or whatever.
Yeah, region locked or something.
There you go, exactly. There have been some people that I knew that went back to the U.S. Were highly disappointed due to the fact that it didn't work in their systems or whatever. And so. Yeah, it's so fascinating, about that. It's like I try to get into gaming, but I'm like,
I know. Yeah, I get it. I started as a kid, and as the years go on, I play less and less. But the history of Japan and gaming and anime and all that, I read a book about it. Just the whole kawaii thing, Hello Kitty.
Yeah,
I love the whole connection, and I love how connected, and historically why they, hyper focused on that. Even Dragon Ball Z, how it's connected to the movie. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but
no, you're not.
yeah, I've always okay. It's something like From the West. I think they built it on this movie called something Far from the West. Somebody's gonna know if they hear this. They're like, no, it's called that. But yeah, I knew about the region lock even way back. But again, that's how it goes, and it's just super cool to know that there's different. Another thing when I travel, I don't know. I love getting the books that are from there, even if it's in that language, because I feel like there's so many stories in life we'll just never know because it's not in our language.
Right.
And even if I got to sit there and translate it, like I'll at least get one book every time I go somewhere. I went to Iceland. It was a kid's book. I'm gonna get it. There's so many stories that just will never get translated, or you just won't know. And the world is so big, and I just love it. I love knowing about something that ain't got nothing to do with where I'm from.
Sure. That's
cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And closing comments. Anything else would you like to say?
For sure. Yeah, no, I'll leave it really about the person who's listening, because that's really the most important thing. When you make art, if it's okay art. I mean, I don't want to say that. When I'm gonna speak for myself. When I make music, if the song is okay, then the song's like for me. But if it's really powerful, it's for whoever's listening. You'll say it's no longer mine, because now you have internalized that you relate to it or you feel something with it, and it's released to the world. So the most important thing I say as a listener is you literally can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, but you have to learn how to block out external noise. That was the hardest thing for me, and I still struggle with it because I became a people pleaser as I was growing up. I was trying to appease, to say the right thing, don't want to start conflict, and that messed me up to becoming an artist. But I don't regret it, but I had to learn, like, bruh, do your thing. Say what you got to say. And if you can't be honest with the people around you, then be honest and watch new people arrive that rock with you, exactly who you are. This life we got it can be a beautiful thing. It has its ups and downs, but it can be beautiful. But one thing we can't do, the most valuable asset we have is time, and you can't even buy it. You can be a trillionaire, you can't even buy it. And don't give your time away to people if you don't feel like they deserve it. So make sure that you're honest so that you can keep the right people in your circumference. Give them your time. Give the things you love your time. That's the one thing. You can't even buy that, bro. You can't even buy it. So why give it away? And if you're going to give it away, give it to your passions. Give it to the people that love you unconditionally. Make sure you give that to them. And give it to yourself. And make sure that you're happy. Don't ever give all your time away and you're unhappy. This is your life. This is yours. So, I don't know. I would turn this whole into a TED Talk or something. But it's the realest thing I can say, man. Like, I'll never not say that. Like, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to find your joy. But make sure that you value your time. And if somebody calling and you don't feel like talking, well, just don't answer. And call them when you're ready. And make sure that you value your time. If you need a minute, if you're in the bathtub and you got the Epsom salt and you're chilling, take your time. That's it. Take your time. Take your time.
And I am very, very happy that you took some time with me to talk some inspiring things.
I like that segue.
Seriously.
Yes.
I mean, there have been a couple of attempts where we're trying to get together, for conflicting schedules and things like that. And of course, dealing with the time difference between the two of us or so. But at the same time, I really, really want to say thank you very much. I commend you for what you're doing, what you've done, and what you're going to do in the future. Spreading the word of, you're spreading the gospel as far as I'm concerned when it comes to positivity, living the best life that you can possibly live. And of course, you're doing it all through your music. So again, I really want to thank you for everything of what you're doing, what you've done, and what you're going to do in the future. And much success to you.
Man, likewise, the pleasure's all mine. I'm a huge fan, and I'm honored to be able to talk with you and work with you. And shout out to everybody listening. Thank you. Much love.
And that's a wrap on this inspiring ride with multi-talented Michael Burton, aka Keybeaux, rapper, songwriter, producer, engineer, and entrepreneur, and just a real one through and through. Whether you're vibing from Tokyo, cruising through Buenos Aires, or locked in from Berlin, Keybeaux's sound is just one tap away. You can hear more of Keybeaux's music on SoundCloud, Spotify, and all major music platforms. And if episode 93 of the Overlooked Tracks podcast moved you, inspired you, or made you nod your head, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, follow the movement, show love to artists who are making noise in their own lane. We're closing out with this. Keybeaux's current status in the music world, on point. I'm Kenny Chiba, and this is the Overlooked Tracks podcast, wishing you safety, good health, and a sharp ear for more musical discoveries. Stay peaceful, stay happy, and until the next time, adore.
People tell me don't get caught up in my past. I guess I was way too caught up in my act, trying to flip and trying to double up a bag. Compensating for everything that I never had. Now look at me, you better know. A worker turned boss, now I'm really CEO. I had my last job like over 3 years ago. I got my mind right, sharper than I was before. Ain't no more crabs in a barrel, I'm lifting up another. Ain't no more limitations because of my skin color. Speak it to existence, the limit is the sky. Open my third eye, ain't no way they can deny.
Yeah, my time, I knew it was gonna come. Ay, took a little minute, now I'm on point, now I'm on point. Ay, now I'm on point, yeah, yeah. Okay, people let it talk, what have they done? Got my gang tight, yeah, say one, I'm on point.
Yeah, my test.
Now I'm on point.
First they love you, then they hate you, then they love you again. They be happy when you lose before they want to see you win. I don't see how they be having the energy to pretend. Either we family or we not. I ain't never had friends. They say love will get you killed. Well, what happened when they hate? You can give them something to eat, and a nigga still watch your plate. But once you stop feeding them, they gon' swear to God you fake. But how I'm fake when I'm the one that made sure you always ate. Everything be all great till you can't feed them no more fish. It done got what all they want, and now they want you out the list. By how it felt when you was starving and they ain't wanna feed you. It's crazy how life be, cause now them same people need you. Young
my
Martez.
time, I knew it was gonna come. Ay, took a little minute, now I'm on point, now I'm on point. Ay, now I'm on point, yeah, yeah. Okay, people let it talk, what have they done? Got my game tight, yeah, say one, I'm on point. Ay, now I'm on point. Ay, my time, I knew it was gonna come. Now I'm on point. Ay, now I'm on point. Yeah, yeah. Okay, people let it talk, what have they done? Got my gang tight, yeah, say one, I'm on point. Ay, now I'm on point. Ay.
Thank you for being part of the Overlooked Tracks podcast. Uncover hidden musical treasures or rediscover your favorite music. Until the next encounter with Kenny Chiba and the Overlooked Tracks podcast. May peace and happiness be with you. Adore.